So the greatest news ever is that you create the past from now, because in every moment, you're a brand new person. Every moment, not even every day, not even every week, every moment, you are choosing who you are in this personality.
But I love what you're saying in that you should be creating your past from your present, like validating that that had occurred, yes, but now we are here in the present moment, and I'm able to move forward with my new beliefs and my new way of being, and that is going to help empower me to get to where I need to go to.
So to give your power away, for example, and go like, well, this is just my belief, and that's called self-victimization, where you blame, complain, and justify instead of going, wait a minute, this just doesn't make sense. And then someone says, but wait, beliefs are hard to change. And I say, that's a belief. Yeah. Oh, you mean I could just change it right now and then everything will change immediately? Wait, are you saying that my past doesn't matter? Of course I'm not. However, do you prefer the past? No, then why would you go there?
All right. Welcome to the AlignUs Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Nikhil Sharma, and I'm so grateful to have you guys here with us today. In today's topic, we're going to be diving into breaking free from the illusion of mainstream healing and the power of instant transformation. So think about this. How many of us have, constantly thought that the healing journey is a lifelong journey? Something that we need to be working on every single day, that we need to be constantly revisiting old wounds and in order for us to finally feel whole, right? How many of us think that this is something that has to be done over a lifetime? Or is there a way that we could instantly transform, instantly heal? Instead of it taking 100 or 50 years, it takes 50 days or maybe a day. And that's why we have our special guest here today, transformational coach, the excitement whisperer, and author of Best Life Ever, Taylor Wells, to kind of discuss with us. Welcome, Taylor. So grateful to have you back with us today.
Hello, and thank you for having me again. I think it's an amazing opportunity to talk about some amazing ideas that everyone can take what they want and leave the rest. With everything we talk about, sometimes when we hear something, it really resonates and it lights us up. And it feels like something we've always known. And sometimes we hear something and we're like, meh. I love skepticism, because skepticism means, I'm curious about this and I'm questioning it and I'm open to different ideas and different ideas and beliefs and perspectives. Cynicism, I'm not a fan of. I don't prefer, because being cynical is when you are shut down to new ideas because you believe that what you know is the way it is. And there's a bit of arrogance in that. And what's really interesting is cynicism, the one I don't prefer, and being completely gullible and just believing everything are actually kind of the same energy, because they're just like shut down to kind of opening other doors and expanding. So that's just a little aside for everyone. As you listen, listen to what feels right and take that and then create your own healing journey.
Love that. I think that listening aspect is something that I never really did in the past, because my ego at the time never really allowed that to occur. I was fixated on a set of beliefs that I thought to be true, and that I was, in order for me to be able to live the life that I truly thought that I wanted to live, I needed to be steadfast on those beliefs. But then over time, I realized that those beliefs weren't suiting me and weren't allowing me to achieve the things that I was trying to achieve. In fact, those beliefs began setting me back to a point where I, crashed and burned, and it was at that point where I realized, hey, I can continue to be fixated on those same beliefs and keep trying to climb my way back to the top, or I could surrender and allow my fixated beliefs to be challenged and to actually revisit that and to reach out and ask for help. And I think that moment where I allowed myself to surrender was a big pivotal moment in my life because it allowed me to expand the possibilities of what could be and not really trust that the only way to be was what I was thinking and doing for myself.
How did that's so beautiful. When you came to that moment, can you remember that right now? Like it was yesterday, that moment?
I can.
Yeah.
Basically, it was where a lot of different issues occurred in my life, whether that was my dad getting really, really sick. Then on top of that, me having pitfalls at my work, then me having pitfalls in relationships. And it all kind of happened at one time. So it was like a perfect storm that occurred. And I just remember it was a period where I was choosing poor coping mechanisms to not be in that painful moment, because as you guys know, that when pain suffers in our life or occurs in our life, our natural reaction is to run from that pain. And, with our fight or flight situation and our systems that are programmed in us to do from a very long time. So I was choosing poor coping mechanisms, and I just felt extremely like I was overwhelmed. I was completely overwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love what you said about how we're programmed from a very young age and even in the womb, because I have 5 kids, and what you are thinking and believing, remember it's beta. That's an easy way to remember it, everybody. It's beliefs first, then emotion, then thought, then action. So when I had a baby chicken in my belly, the beliefs, emotions, thoughts, and actions I took affected that baby, and even just born, okay? However, so we have these things that are instilled in us, and it's so interesting because we are programmed overall. Of course, there are exceptions to everything. I'll say that. But overall, we are programmed to run like hell in the other direction and or self-medicate, et cetera, et cetera. And there are many businesses that do profit from that kind of protocol, and that's fine. All things are valid. We get to choose what is valid for us. And when we push against something that doesn't feel valid to us or that with which we don't resonate, right? When we push against it, it gets bigger just because of the law of attraction. What I actually coach people to do is the exact opposite. When you or I feel fear, go right to the front door. It's knocking at the front door and answer it and get excited about it, because everything, your energy, Nick. Yeah. I'm going to just talk to Nick, okay? So we can pretend we're in a coaching session. So you are just energy. So let's say you're, nervous or anxious versus excited. It's the same energy. It's just a different belief. Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. Yes.
So when you go to the door and you answer it and it's fear, and meanwhile, Nick, you were following what you had been taught with the protocol of like, do this, do that, especially in the medical profession, right? You got to medicate, you got to do this, you got to do that. And you're just trying to keep your head above water. Hello, everyone's just trying to live their life, right? Yeah, how can I deal with all this healing at the same time? Well, the truth is, and this is like a spoiler alert, you're going to deal with every single thing you need is right there in the moment, will bubble up as you need, quote unquote, to deal with it and heal it, which all comes from inside of you. The digging is unnecessary. And in fact, I don't at all suggest it. And I'll tell you why. But let's keep going.
So in these days, healing seems to be a very popular term. I think that, if we just look back and look at the current surrounding atmosphere, there's so much, I want to say, division that's in the world. There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of suffering. So naturally, people are looking for new ways to transform themselves or new ways of doing things. And now, as you know, it's all over TV, it's all over social media, healing, healing, healing. We need to be working on our healing. What does it mean to heal? And can people truly be, what is fully healed? And can we be fully healed?
Yes, wonderful questions. So first of all, I'm all for anything that is going toward integration. So in my beliefs, it's not actually a duality of good and bad or evil, and I don't believe in any of that. Actually, evil spelled backwards is what?
Life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. So
I was like, wait a second, let me think about it. But yes, it's live.
So I believe that there's a trinity. So think of a triangle like this,
yes,
like that. So in the middle is neutrality, and on one side is what you, Nick, prefer, and on the other side is what you don't prefer. And I use very neutral terms on purpose. Everything is intentional.
Yeah.
So on one side is what you prefer, resonate with, and choose. You choose it. Neutrality. And then the other side, I don't prefer that. And it just takes practice, right? To go from, I hate that, to, no, thank you, I don't prefer it. So what happens with, I hate that, and I'm going to get back to the healing question, is you're going to light up your whole light board. You remember Light Bright? And then, well, I had it in the 70s. You're lighting up with that. And so you're pushing against, it gets bigger. No, go to what you prefer, what lights you up and what resonates, knowing that all is valid, okay? Not that, and this has to do with healing, not that you are going to say, I prefer that or that's the best ever. You don't prefer it. You don't condone it. However, you focus on that which you do prefer. So the idea of healing. Okay, so heal is a 4-letter word that I love and I prefer. So the most amazing truth, my belief, is that all healing comes from within each person themselves. And they get to choose what permission slip, as I call it, works for them. So for me, for example, one thing that is a daily thing, a daily permission slip that I use is yoga. So I practice yoga every morning. I get up at 4 a.m. I practice every single day for 25 years. I don't force myself to do that. It's exciting to me. I love it. I feel wonderful from it. That is a daily healing practice, using the word healing, that puts me into alignment. I love align us because everything is alignment, right? Yeah. So if you're in alignment, you're going to be authentically Nick, okay? And when you're authentically Nick, whether it's yoga or it's going for a walk or it's I also meditate actually under a tree facing the water. I happen to live on the water in Barrington, Rhode Island. So whatever you do that gets you in alignment from that moment, because everything is now, okay? So when people say, oh, I have to heal my past, Taylor, and you won't believe what I went through, it was really bad, or I was really bad, or, I've heard it all, okay? And I've lived a lot of it too. And so the greatest news ever is that you create, this is going to twist your mind in a pretzel, but that's good. And that's good. You create the past from now, because in every moment, you're a brand new person. Every moment, not even every day, not even every week, every moment, you are choosing the Nick who you are in this personality, in this body, right? That's here, a soul, a spirit in this body, and you're creating that Nick. Now, you tell a wonderful, inspiring story of when you kind of hit what people like to call rock bottom or whatever, where kind of everything came together. So in my belief, that was your highest authentic self, Nick, on the mountain. He kept trying to get your attention over and over and over. And finally, he's like, all right, pull out the stops. This. Do we get your attention? And you did, right?
Yeah.
So what I coach to do and what I do personally is to become more aware and awake to the signs of your own moment to moment. You can call it healing or awakening or enlightenment. Enlightenment simply means lightening up.
Yep.
Okay. Being awake. So as you become that, which is just you, your healing is instantaneous because in each moment you are given exactly that which you in that moment need, or it would be best for you to look at. So that's why digging, like being kind of prodding and digging and going back and stirring up stuff that you've looked at multiple times and which always feels, I like to say flompily, which is a word that just means kind of not great. That's not going to be helpful because it's not coming up organically. Hey, if it bubbles up, go right to it. Answer the door. Hey, fear, why am I scared? Or why do I feel less than? Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that, I think, there are times where I look back upon the things that occurred in my life that led me to that crash and burn and hitting rock bottom. But I had addressed that during that time period, when it first came up. Those things still come up for me throughout, my days, but I don't need to necessarily delve back into that whole situation and make myself start feeling shame, right? Because that's what starts coming up immediately is some of the incidents that occurred were very shameful to me at that time. But I love what you're saying in that you should be creating your past from your present, like validating that had occurred, yes, but now we are here in the present moment and I'm able to move forward with my new beliefs and my new way of being, and that is going to help empower me to get to where I need to go to.
I love everything you said. I'm going to pick apart a couple things because I love to do it, and it's my highest excitement for fun. So everything you said, I loved. So what's fascinating is people say, well, it's hard. Some people say, well, it's hard to be, Taylor, it's hard to be myself. And I say, actually, the only thing that is hard is not being you, okay, in this moment. Now, and I'm going to get to the shame. So when you are being authentically Nick, okay, you cannot fail. You cannot fail at being authentically you. And when I say fail, there actually is no ability to fail because when we fall, I always say, sometimes you win and you always learn. It's not sometimes you learn, you're always learning. So I actually don't believe in regret, remorse, mistakes, failure, or shame or guilt. And here's why. So I had someone say to me, well, guilt is important and all beliefs are valid, by the way. And I'm never, ever, ever attempting to convince anyone because when you know, you don't feel a need to prove or convince, right? And the best state of being for a human being is to know, whatever it may be. If you prefer to create something, once you know it, it is. It already is, actually. But once you know it, it comes into 3D. So going back to guilt and shame, right? Nick said something so awesome, which is, this shit still comes up. Of course, you're a human being. And when we come to this earth school, as I call it, we're here for the process. So when we're non-physical, when we move out of this physicality, you just have a thought as a spirit and it becomes, there is no process. So the process is cool. It's why we're here, which is so paradoxical because people get frustrated. Why is it taking so long? And I say, that's why, because when you're looking for whatever it is, whether it's like, when am I going to stop having these thoughts about, that time where I felt ashamed? You won't ever stop. However, this is what will happen. And it's already happening. I can hear that. It will be like you're watching it and you're just neutral. You're like, oh, isn't that interesting that I created that to learn this lesson? And isn't that interesting that my higher self, Nick, my authentic self was, I remember I was kind of, tapping myself when this happened. but I was so focused. Remember we talked about being so focused on beliefs and holding tight to them, that then I didn't hear it, etc. And the issue is that it will never go away because we are everything. The universe is within us. So where's it going to go? But I like to think about it just kind of floating out into the ocean. That's why I love the ocean so much. It's just kind of gently goes away. It doesn't go away. It floats away. And then sometimes it comes in, and then you look at it, and in time, I think you're already there. You feel proud. You feel proud. Like, look where I am now. However, in time, you won't even have to go back and say, unless it's inspiring, which it is right here for others who are like, damn, he did it. So can I. Right. So, but the guilt and shame. So this is fascinating. We're taught to feel guilty, all right, as if it is kind or something to help someone other, or, shameful or bad, even when another is in a bad, especially when another's in a bad, oh, I feel so bad for you. Well, that's not helpful. That's empathy, but compassion for yourself and others is when you feel that feeling of being in the mud, that crappy feeling, for 15 seconds, Nick. That's it. That is the complete maximum of time that you feel that emotion. Then you're going into judgment of yourself or of another. And when you're in judgment, it sticks.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense. And I think unfortunately, we've been conditioned from a very young age to be a certain way, to live a certain lifestyle, to have certain things happen to us at a certain milestone period that has been told to us from our parents, and because their parents told them the same thing. And when we don't reach those milestones, or we don't accomplish those things, we tend to judge ourselves very harshly for that. We then get into a state of, why isn't this happening for me? And it must not be happening for me because I don't deserve it to happen to me. I'm not worthy of this.
Yes.
And then we start judging ourselves harder. When in fact, when we look at our friends who are going through something similar, we tell them, Mary, that's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. That happens to everyone. We literally tell that to everyone. Like, don't worry about it. It's your own time. But when it comes back to us, we're like, oh my God, we're terrible.
I love that. True.
It's just so true how backwards our brains work sometimes, because we're literally giving other people advice that's so good and so powerful. We're reassuring other people all the time, and we're like, don't worry about it. But when it comes back to us, when we're by ourselves laying down in our bed at nighttime, these thoughts start ruminating through our brain, and we're like, what are we doing? I'm 42 years old. I'm not married. Is something wrong with me? It's crazy how our systems begin to do that, and we start judging ourselves. So it's about, hey, some of those thoughts are going to creep up on you.
Yeah,
and it's about, hey, recognizing, oh, I see you over there, thought. That's a really negative thought. Be gone, shutting the door on that thought.
Now, wait a minute. You make me laugh so hard. So first of all, that thought, this might be a new, let's see how this sits, okay?
Yeah.
So I love what you said. I love a lot of what you said. The last thing I wanted to focus on here is, the last thing you said, which is, when these thoughts come in, so my clients will freak out. They'll be like, why am I having this thought? Like, I thought I was spiritual. I thought I was doing conscious creation. I thought I was doing what you said. I'm screwing up. And of course you're not screwing up. And the thought is actually a gift. It's gold, because that thought, all right, and or an action, like when you use words, people are funny when they talk to me because they start kind of mincing words. They're like on eggshells because they're trying not to say the wrong thing for law of attraction. And I say, please just speak the way that it comes naturally so I can have a window into your brain, because you can practice saying things, but what's really coming from your beliefs is what I need to hear. So we can perhaps look at the beliefs such as, I'm not good enough, right? I'm not deserving. Now, what's interesting is anger has deservability in it. And guilt and shame do not. All right. So anger is actually an alignment, just like the podcast. It's an alignment mechanism. And it goes like this. You're angry, 15 seconds though. All right. That's it. And it's saying, I am not that. It's saying, all right. Now you go to neutral on the triangle. Then you go, I am this. Now, if you're still angry after 15 seconds, that emotion is done. You're in judgment of them or you. Now, even if it's judgment of them, especially, it's still of yourself because we're all is one, right? We're all a reflection of all that is. So for a human being, you, me, anyone to say at night, oh, Miri, that's great. Oh, I like when I'm working with parents and they're feeling bad about whatever. And I go, would you ever say blah, blah, blah to your chicken? And they do it, laugh. No, I would never say that. And I'm like, what? Yeah. So when you're laying in bed and you're thinking, I'm not good enough, here's the incredible paradox. That is arrogance. Why? Because everyone is good enough. Everyone is good enough and is here for a reason. And when they follow their highest excitement, some people say, well, that's really easy for you to say because whatever, they have a lot of stories about that. But, my highest excitement can't support me. And I explained that makes no sense because your highest excitement is your higher self, your higher Nick on the mountaintop, your authentic self, saying, this is it, go towards this, right? For now, maybe that will lead to this. It may not, it's not the end all be all. It's for now, right? Go here. And all it is not going to give you that excitement if there is not someone who prefers, chooses, I don't love the word need, but resonates with this, right? Yeah. So this podcast is your highest excitement and all that it's doing. So as you follow that, it's going to go well. No. That when something feels off, it's for a reason, right? It's a red light saying, ooh, pivot this way, pivot that way. However, when you're coming from a place at night when you're like, I'm not good enough because whatever, I'm 42, I'm not married, whatever, fill in the blanks. Everyone has those. Every single person I've ever worked with over 23 years feels that way. Everyone.
Yes.
So that's
it's important for people
good
to understand that whatever is going on in your brain and in your mind, everyone around you is also having similar doubts, similar fears. That is part of the human experience. And once you really fully understand that it's, say if you wanted to go up to someone next to you that's at McDonald's or at the park and you ask them these questions, and if they were honest, they would tell you that, yes, I'm also fearing this, and this. I'm also going through this, and this. It's just sometimes in public, we're obviously not going to be having those open conversations with strangers, but just, for everyone's sake, just assume this as to be true, that we are all having something that's going on in our life, and then we can be more open about what we are going through because it's a human experience. And part of that experience is going through some tough times, is going through a lot of pain, but recognizing that will help us, move forward in a more empowered way, that we're not alone in this.
Djokovic, who is a tennis player who won the gold medal, he was being interviewed by someone, and she said, are you so happy because now you have this, and this, and do you feel so, excited and successful? And he said, no, every single day I don't feel good enough. Go watch this interview. Yeah. He said, I'm driven by my anxiety of being less than, etc. It was so amazing that he said that, because it really opened up a lot of people's eyes to what you just said. The best news ever is that we get to choose the voices we listen to, and all the voices are us. It's not, it may have originated from Aunt Hazel or your mom or your dad or who knows. However, you get to choose and you get to say, oh, that belief is heavy. So if that belief, like I'm not good enough, is heavy, it's not mine because my beliefs are light. Yes. Like it's, you're going to feel energized when you are feeling lighter or enlightened. And that's just those beliefs that serve you. And when you're your unique Nick in this moment, your puzzle piece fits perfectly and everything flows. So healing, which this podcast is technically about, is about literally just being present now and trusting that whatever I, Nick, need, meaning to follow my highest excitement, which is the way that everything falls into place, believe it or not, it's as easy as that. Everything I need is always here in this moment, not before and not after. Okay. So when people are like, but what about this tomorrow? I'm like, I don't know. It's never going to come. Tomorrow's never coming. It's always now. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. It really does. And I think what you hit on is it's our beliefs that we need to be kind of putting our focus on and reevaluating to being like, is this thought or belief that I'm having actually true? Where did this come from? Typically, these beliefs, like you said, they come from various sources, likely from a childhood age, from your parents and the family, society, TV, you name it. There's different constructs and avenues that start shaping what our thoughts are. But at the end of the day, these are your own personal thoughts. That's all that's really driving who you are, and your actions on an everyday basis is all based on your thoughts. Now, once you can start empowering yourself and moving into a situation where, hey, I see you thought, but I'm not going to let you come into the door today. Thank you. Bye-bye. You're on.
No, wait a minute. But go back for a sec. Hold on. Thought, it's just words, but this is important.
Yeah.
The thought came from the belief, which you said, right?
Yes.
So let's get to the belief first. Yeah, the thought triggers it. It's like, oh, wait a minute. And not being afraid of the thought, okay?
Yes.
Because fear cannot hurt anyone. Well, fear is telling you that you're going to learn something about you that is really, really bad. Yeah. And you're not. It's all smoke and mirrors. And fear actually uses your energy. Okay, think of a light bulb. Yeah. You have this light bulb, right? It's out of the package. Is this going to light up? No. I need to screw it into an energy source, right? Are you following?
Yes.
So the light bulb is the belief. When you screw the belief into the energy source, that's you. You're the energy, okay?
Yes.
Now, the belief only works when you give it energy. If you have a belief that makes no sense, I'm just going to tell you, I'm not good enough, makes no sense. You can actually effectively visualize I'm going to unscrew that light bulb, and it's going to once in a while try to light up, but it's not going to really do so well if it's not plugged into the source. Yeah. And the source, which is you, your energy, is a crystal. So imagine a crystal. I have crystals over there, but there's crystals on this. Imagine, so you're one of these crystals, right? And the light that shines through that crystal is uniquely you. Yeah. And that is how the world is created, through you. Yeah. So to give your power away, Nick, for example, and go like, this is just my belief. And that's called self-victimization, where you blame, complain, and justify instead of going, wait a minute, this just doesn't make sense. And then someone says, but wait, beliefs are hard to change. And I say, that's a belief. Yeah. Oh, you mean I could just change it right now and then everything will change immediately? Wait, are you saying that my past doesn't matter? Of course I'm not. However, do you prefer the past? No, then why would you go there?
Love that. And that is, so I'm currently going through a situation where I feel like your current method may be of help. When you go on this healing journey, sometimes you get so healed. One of the things I needed to heal was codependency issues. And so I have now I feel fully healed at, and I feel now I've become hyper independent. And because of this hyper independency, I feel the good things that have happened in my life, meaning that I've cut off energies that no longer serve me and my highest good. I am in more control about what is going to be happening to me in my life. And I'm now seeing the fruits of that labor, meaning I've helped grow this company to get ready to get launched on January 18th, which is really exciting. I've gotten a much better relationship with my family. I'm able to spend so much more time at home, and a lot more time with my dog, and a lot more time doing things that are really exciting to me. However, I do feel that I would like to have love in my life, but I'm now battling with the belief or the thought process of now where I'm at right now, it does feel amazing. I've gotten, like I said, in a really peaceful state of mind. I know by attracting another person into my life, there is going to be challenges that are going to come with that. There are going to be situations that may be dramatic. It's an unknown, right? That's going to start occurring. Is that a possibility that there can be some great love and that can help transcend, us? Sure, there can be. That's obviously the goal. I'm now in this spot where it's like, how do I get out of this belief that I'm in? Because, I feel like you said, can we instantaneously transform, and, move to another, way of being? And I think that's true. Obviously, like I said, I think the day I went through that awakening, when things, hit a perfect storm for me and I surrendered, that was the day where my life, started changing for the good. But now I'm at this point there, I'm wondering what steps or what guidance you would give me in this current situation to help get me out of this thought process to something that I feel would be more advantageous for me.
So the belief, first, thank you. That's wonderful. The belief, let's first dig into the belief. The belief that I heard is, listen, I'm in a great place. I've got, and by the way, just one tiny thing, you never have to, when you're being authentically Nick and living your highest excitement, the universe will take care of people getting off the bus and on the bus. So that's a big misunderstanding where people, and that's also culturally taught. You need to cut this off or make this boundary. The only boundary you ever need the only thing you ever need to do is truly follow highest excitement, being yourself, keeping a positive attitude, acting on it, letting go of attachment to outcome, when, where, how, knowing it will always come in the best possible time and place. And re-examining your beliefs. That's all you ever have to do, those 5 steps. Maybe we can put up that visual for people.
We will.
So when you do that, you don't have to micromanage anything. There are no details. It's not, and I will never add another step. Okay. That's how creation works. So what I hear happening, so yes, people kind of got off the bus, people got on the bus, you're focused, you're et cetera. And at the beginning, I understand why people believe I have to cut out this toxic person or whatever, because we're taught that it has to be hard and you have to act and do those things. I'm saying act on excitement. And okay, if the excitement was to not call that person or whatever, that's fine. But my point is, once you're just being Nick, the Nick who you truly love, it's funny, you said hyper independent, I think you said. So my handsome husband, Philippe, and I are the most independent people you could even imagine. And also, this is going to kind of twist your brain into a pretzel, because what I hear you saying, and I hear it from a lot of high functioning, very smart, very independent people who are preferring to attract the person of their dreams, but they have a fear and a belief that if I do that, what you just said, there's going to be conflict, or you said challenge and drama, etc. Now that's a belief.
Heartbreak, right? So.
Okay. All right, that's easy. All right, so that's your belief. Okay. Yeah. Oh, may I ask you a question about that? About the heartbreak?
Yeah.
Okay. So I believe that heartbreak is a part of this, because what must I believe to be true to believe that heartbreak will be a part of this person I'm attracting? What do you believe to be true? Where is that coming from?
Prior incidences that where I've tried to be in relationships, or I've been in relationships and they ended up in heartbreak.
Okay. did you learn in those experiences?
I think what I learned, finally was that I was a part of the reasons why these heartbreaks were occurring. I contributed into that because of myself doing things that weren't aligned with my true authentic self, I would say. And that led to the other person being confused in the situation. So I've had a time to self-reflect on all those relationships that I've been in since the age of 18 years old. And it has now led me to this place of being very independent, where I feel like I'm, putting myself out there again. There's risk involved in that, and that right now I'm feeling peaceful, but I do want to cross that barrier. It's just, there's a belief system in my head right now that I need to change, that the next person, it won't be the same because of where I'm at. Maybe I'm not sure, but that's the belief that there could be heartbreak, and that, there could also, there's the same challenges I feel that could be occurring when I'm doing something new at work. But really right now, the focus for me is this relationship issue.
So what I heard you say, tell me if this is accurate, is so I learned all these things. And what I learned was basically those relationships, those people with whom I was in relation actually weren't in a relationship with authentic Nick. They were in a relationship. They weren't even in a relationship with you. Now you are authentic Nick. So authentic Nick has a different history. You don't have to ever go through that again unless you choose it. So think about a cube, 6 sides, right? Blue, 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 blue. And then we're going to change one side to purple. Is that the same cube? No, it's different. And you now, as authentic Nick, are applying a history of someone who's not you, saying that's going to happen again. And does your brain understand that or not?
Yes, it does. Yes. Does
it compute? Because if it doesn't compute, another way for other people who don't understand it is I say, listen, you did it already. You don't need to do that again. Okay. Because sometimes people, they don't really understand, but that's a different person. You're a different person now.
Yeah.
So you're basically saying, you're talking to Mary before. Mary, it's going to be fine. You're taking something that doesn't apply to you. You're now you. Yeah. And by the way, they weren't even in a relationship with you. They were in a relationship with someone you were attempting to be. Yes. When you're being you, you're going to attract. So again, back to the formula. And also your fear, I believe, and I see it daily, is I'm at peace, like this is going to mess with my peace. And I was so out of sorts when I hit rock bottom, and I don't want to lose this homeostasis, this balance.
Yes.
So following highest excitement, all right, which is you're choosing to, you're scared because you don't know what it's going to look like, of course.
Yeah, because comfort zone, remember, comfort zone. I'm not in a comfort zone when it comes to professional life. Like, I'm clearly way out of my comfort zone, and I'm chasing my highest excitement. I left my professional career as a hospitalist. I'm now an entrepreneur, and I'm doing really exciting things. But I guess in another aspect of my life, I'm really in my comfort zone, and I'm not getting myself out there, and I'm just protecting myself.
From who?
I don't know. Like from
yourself.
From myself.
From
Yeah. From me.
It's all you.
Yeah.
You're hold on, I just swallowed my tea backwards for a reason, I think. Hold on.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, that's brilliant.
Myself.
I'm protecting myself from me, because fear, everything is inside of us. So remember, we're the crystal. And what you're doing is okay, so fear also, so there's fear, which is segregative, and then there's love, which is integrative. And love doesn't have to do a lot of PR or work to get you on board, because it feels great. But fear is like, stay here with me, Nick. You're comfy and cozy and peaceful, and everything you just said. That literally, I'm going to send you a visual you can hopefully put up on the that shows what fear does. And fear doesn't mean any harm. It's just part of the Trinity, right? And it's saying, stay with us, Nick. It's the ego. It's the ego who kept you in medicine and everything because of all this stuff. It's the lower mind. And I don't mean ego as negative, you guys. I mean it as the 3D mind that is just looking and saying, okay, here is this in 3D. Your higher Nick is pleading with you. Okay, that's where you crave, that you have someone sitting in front of you right now who is incredibly independent and have been for my whole life, very independent. And I also love people. And I also attracted a person who we're so connected, and we also have our independence. You can have anything you want. Right. You're looking back at this other person who you don't even recognize that person anymore, do you?
No, not at all. Not at all.
And we love him because he was part of the, you can't step up. The path is the path. And when you don't love where you are, whether it sucks or not, you can't move to the next step because you're resisting it. So right now it's so funny because you're saying, I want her, I don't. I want it, I don't. I want a relationship, I don't. And the universe is like, what the hell do you want?
Yep, that's right. Great point. You have to step into what it is that you truly desire. You have to show the universe you're ready for this. And when you do, the universe starts bringing those experiences to you. Once I left my job at the hospital, which was a very in and out thing where I was doing moonlighting and I was still trying to do the AlignUs project, but then that caused me to burn out. And so that caused the crash and burn. And the universe is telling me, I told you, you have to tell me what you want. It can't be in between. In between leads to bad situations for you or not realizing what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And so
it's plan A. Like when people go, Taylor, should I have a plan B? And I say, no, have plan A when you're. So I have a question. This is really going to help. What is the difference? Because you said I do it in my business. Right. So what's the difference? And can you mimic the same belief from the business to this relationship that you are asking for and pushing away at the same time?
No, it's a good question. There needs to be like a synergy, and the way I need to focus, I feel, is that as I'm focusing on AlignUs, which is my soul's mission, which is what I feel like I've been brought here to do, that is going to magnetize experiences that are meant for me, including a relationship, that will be aligned with who the authentic Nick is right now and help me go even higher in my journey, in my pursuit of what my soul is wanting me to accomplish in this lifetime, that partner will help me get there at an astronomical rate.
Okay, I got it. I know what's happening. So remember that everyone knows all this, by the way. If it resonates, you're remembering it, okay? Because all the healing, back to healing, comes from within you, whoever's listening. And Nick, I'm talking to you right now. So you are living your authentic life and self now, and you really appreciate it and are grateful for it because of where you've come from. So there's that. It's like when you're really hungry, food really tastes good. Same idea, right? So awesome that you attracted all that, because you did, to get to where you are now. Yes?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So here you are. When we talked about relationships in the last podcast, it's about being the person now, Nick, who you, Nick, prefer, choose, resonate with, attracting, correct?
Yes.
Right now, you would attract someone who doesn't know if they want to be in a relationship with you or not, because you might step on her toes.
That's right. There it
is. And you might
got
boss her around. And you might try to control her.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
So, okay. So you get that. All right.
I got it.
So here's another thing. This is all you need to do or choose to do. Choose 5 emotions that you imagine feeling in this relationship, not what the person's like, not the physicality, nothing, or what the person's like. You, for example, I feel loved is an easy one, right? Unconditionally loved. Give me 4 more or 4 more, And then I'm going to give you a trick. It's magical. Go ahead. So in my relationship, I'm imagining it now. You, Nick, I feel, I know one. I'm going to give you one. I feel free. I feel freedom.
Freedom.
Unconditional love. Give me three more.
I feel a sense of joy. I feel a sense of, we said freedom, just, being authentic to who I am. And I feel a sense of,
it begins with E. Ease?
Ease. Yes.
One more. Ease and
honesty.
Excitement.
Okay. Yes, excitement.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, because that covers everything. But those are great. So here's your homework. You ready?
Yes.
I always give homework. So in this relationship, I feel unconditionally loved. I'm going to add a couple for fun. I feel excited. I feel ease. I feel authentic. I feel free, all caps. I feel supported. I feel appreciated.
Yeah.
All right? There's 7. That's my favorite number. All right. Pick one of those. Just one is fine. If you want to do more, it's fine. But pick one. Choose one. And moving forward till our next podcast, when you're experiencing that now, so let's say it is excited, all right?
Yeah.
I feel excited now. Don't think about relationships. What? When do you feel excited? Doing what? Like in what? In this? In Alignus, right?
Yes. I feel excited doing working on Alignus, helping people heal. That is like what I feel excited about.
Okay. So all you have to do, literally, so you already said those 7 things. That's how I choose to feel, because anything that we ever want, I don't prefer. Wanting is not a good state to be in. You want to choose it or prefer it, because wanting it's like limbo and it can't come. But something you choose because of how you believe it will make you feel. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I want to feel those 7 things. So choose one, everybody. Yeah. And I chose excitement for him because it's obvious. Yeah. And so now when you're feeling excited, don't try to morph it to the relationship. Just feel the excitement. You've already asked for the relationship, okay?
Yep.
Now the universe goes like this. You're lit up and it goes, oh, excited. Give him this. Give him this. Do not think about the relationship, because you've got some flompily beliefs about that you just want to let kind of piddle out, like peter out, all right? And they will. If you don't attend to them, they're just going to kind of go off. So that's all you have to do. And then here's the key. Step 4, attachment to how it comes. So what you said was, through Alignus, she's going to come through this, or they, I don't know what the profile, what the pronoun is. Whatever. Yeah. So I had a client who was like, I'm going to meet my, partner. Actually said this in yoga class, which is funny because that's where I met Philippe anyway. But literally was like out and about, and she was there, like at Starbucks, at the park, at the car wash. Yeah. But he couldn't see her because he was like, no, it has to be in yoga class.
Right. Yeah. Expectations. Not good.
So just let the person come however they come. Your only homework is being excited. And then when the doubt comes in and goes, what the hell is wrong with you? You're 42. You're not married. Go, thank you so much. And I don't prefer that. That's all.
Yes.
I don't resonate with that. Thank you. But when you push it away, when you push it away, it's like, I got attention. Just be like, no, thank you. I don't prefer.
I love that. Yeah, we draw in what we pay attention to. So if we're paying attention to the negative aspects of things, we're inviting that negative aspect to overtake our thoughts and our minds and really our realities. So I love that.
Well, and we get afraid. We're like, oh my God, I had that thought. It means it's happening. No, it doesn't. Are you kidding me? No, it just means what kind of, okay, thank you. And remember, this is really, really important when you're when you use it up. Because you attracted it. You attracted that thought. You use it up. Like you squeeze all the, lemon juice out of it. Off it goes. Okay. So when I work with people who are working with a dis-ease, right? Dis-ease. And they're like, I got to fight it. I got to kill it. I'm like, no, you don't. I say, you invited it. Say to it, hello, why are you here? Okay. And guess what? Squeeze everything out of it. Off it goes. Okay. And by the way, I'm not a medical doctor and I didn't give medical advice. That was just an example.
But you are the excitement whisperer, and I really appreciate that. And you guys can tell that are listening the excitement that comes out of Taylor and how she brings that up into her clients and to people that she touches every single day. It's truly beautiful, and it is important that you first resonate on what it is that's bringing you excitement, and then go after that and watch the magic happen. You will see a lot of that in her book, Best Life Ever, and we'll leave information down at the bottom of the podcast and in our Instagram and our TikToks on how you can get coaching with Taylor. She truly can help change your life. She certainly changed mine and the way I look at things, and just a magic about her, and really appreciate her being the guest with us today here. And we're looking forward to the next episode. And until next time, peace and love.